I've caught them up to 90, and I've heard of guys and seen pictures of beavers over 100 pounds.
By about a year old, they are already between 25 and 30 pounds. They eat so much and take up so much space, it's not long before their parents give them the boot. Nature is awesome. From big to small, there's so much adventure, from the deep and dangerous wilderness to your own backyard. We take you on a journey inside a world like you have never seen.
Right there. Oh.
An inside look at what it takes to preserve, rehab, and respect our wildlife.
There it is again.
And just what nature photographers are willing to put themselves through to capture and share the beauty of our natural world for all to see. That's wild. Let's go. It is time to talk about beavers. Of course, they're busy year-round. That's probably where that whole term, busy as beavers, comes from. But as I watch them taste nature on their own, I want a bigger taste of the unique and incredible animal that lives all around us. Knock, knock.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, how are you? Our first stop with James and Danica at Spring Lake Campground near Savannah, Illinois. They helped us find a spot to get some working at night shots and shared some awesome daytime footage too. Danica was on the water with her sister Courtney when they came across these beavers.
Is that a beaver? I don't know. I think it might be a beaver.
So I head to the woods and search for answers like, what do they eat? How big do they get? And what the heck is all this talk about their perfume connection? And yeah, the teeth that never stop growing. Got the crew in the field, Noah and Adam, and Ryan's holding down the editing for me. Be excited. You're about to meet a true beaver expert. As Denny heads straight for the water. Too loud to talk about it here. Let's move up onto the shoreline.
My name's Denny Weiss. I grew up in Burlington, Iowa, and I've lived along the Mississippi River my whole life. I worked 35 years for the Iowa DNR in fisheries research, and I've loved to hunt and fish and trap since I've been a young kid, and I continue that today.
What is it about animals that you like so much?
I guess it's kind of Denny's high. You know, I tell guys I really don't do alcohol, never done drugs. It's my high is being outdoors and catching a big beaver or going bear hunting or shooting a deer or whatever, and just enjoying nature. I just love to find out and study the animal. I've been retired 9 years now, and as my neighbors say, Denny's probably busier now than I was when I'm working. I put in long days, but it's a job I love.
In retirement, farmers rely on his skills to keep their waterways open.
This is what they call a 330 conibear.
Too many beaver dams lead to problems like flooding and crop loss, and also make it harder for beavers to survive themselves. So what about the dams? What are they for, and how do they work?
So let's talk about their habitat, okay? So we're along a creek here, and you say there's a lodge and then there's a dam, two separate primary locations for the beaver.
Yep, like out in the Mississippi River, our beavers will just either live in bank dens or build a lodge. They've got plenty of water. In our smaller creeks all over the state of Iowa, they need deep enough water to make their food pile that they'll start cutting down trees in September and October, stick those in the bottom of the mud close to their bank den or their lodge. If the water's only 2 or 3 feet deep, that's got a chance of freezing to the bottom, and those beavers are going to starve to death come late winter.
So what is the primary food source for a beaver?
Well, he's definitely a vegetation. You know, he's going to eat bark. Summer he'll eat some roots and bulbs off of plants, maybe cattail bulbs, stuff like that, but generally trees and the bark, because there again, he's got to be using those teeth.
And somehow with a vegetarian diet, they're still pretty large. Some of them can get pretty big.
A beaver's a unique animal in the sense that he has what we call non-determinate growth. So there's no in factor on how big a beaver can actually be. It's just how old he gets and how rich of an environment with food. But just a few days ago, I caught a beaver that was 80 pounds. I've caught him up to 90, and I've heard of guys and seen pictures of beavers over 100 pounds.
By about a year old, they are already between 25 and 30 pounds. They eat so much and take up so much space, it's not long before their parents give them the boot.
There's only so much one can do in an area, right? So like other species, do they kind of designate an area, then toss the youngs away so they can have a little more space?
Yep, correct. A colony of beaver is always going to have an adult, male and female, going to range anywhere from 40 to 60, 80 pounds. Their litters are usually about 3 to 5 cubs or kits every year. They're going to keep their 1-year-old kits in the colony and their 2-year-old kits. But about this time of year in March, or for sure early April, the male and female are going to kick out their 2-year-old beavers, because that's how old a beaver has to be mature. So now they're going to get rid of 3, 4, 5 beavers out of their colony, because in late April, early May, the female is going to deliver another 3 to 5 kits for this coming year. Those 2-year-olds that they kicked out of the colony in late spring, they're mature, so now they're going to start traveling all up and down the waterways, either a creek or a river, looking for a mate, and they're going to try to establish their own territory. It's kind of a cool way. That's nature's way of dispersing and spreading out all of our animal species like that. So if there's a creek that's 10 miles long, doesn't have no beavers, if we've got an overpopulation of beavers, a young pair is going to find that new creek and establish their home territory.
Building their own lodges and dams.
Now, in the lodge here, the lodge we can see, it's underwater. They go underneath there, and then you say they could be up on this bank somewhere in a hollowed out area. Yeah. Do they hollow that out themselves?
Yep, beavers got long claws on their front feet to dig. Their back feet, they've got complete web in between. So when they're swimming, they pull their front feet up against their chest, more torpedo shape, and they just use their back feet to propel or push themselves. But yeah, beavers want an underwater entrance. That way no coyote or predator can just come walking into their lodge. A coyote or a wolf or a bear wouldn't be able to hold his breath and dive. So that's the beaver's safety factor. There again, he needs deep enough water. If it's in too shallow water, we get a hard winter and he's going to get froze out. But that's the beaver's safety measure, is to dive underwater. I've seen them when they've caved in. It's a 4 or 5 foot hollowed out section. They'll line it with grass, the shavings off there when they chew. So it's kind of a cool nest chamber where those beavers are going to live underneath this bank.
Of course, to make all this happen takes a lot of wood. Obviously, carpentry, or more like lumberjacking, is their specialty.
Those smallest tree branches, the candy for a beaver, is at the top of a tree. Beavers don't have no way of climbing a tree, so they gnaw down the tree, let it topple. Now they can walk on the ground and sit there and gnaw the correct branches that they want. Kind of chew it like corn on the cob. They want to chew all that bark off that outside of the tree. Well, right here's a tree that the beavers have been starting to work on. This is probably not a big beaver, because when a beaver sits on his back feet, he's going to lean up against the tree and gnaw. This kind of tells me this is probably a smaller beaver that's been working on this tree. So far, he's just whittled off all the outside bark. Eventually, he's going to start gnawing into the main layer to be able to topple this tree, because a beaver's favorite food is these smaller branches. These I found along the water's edge, and the beaver's actually just put it in his mouth, twirled it, and chewed off all the outside bark. That's what a beaver is going to live on. He doesn't eat none of the main wood, just like here, he won't eat this. But these small branches are at the very tops of these trees, so that's why a beaver is going to chew this tree down to make it fall on the ground. Then he can walk up at the upper branches, chew off the sections that he wants.
Could you show us on this stump?
Oh yeah, sure.
Mind kind of explain this whole triangle thing?
Here'd be a cooler one yet, Gary, this one down here. See what I'm saying? It's a lot bigger. Let me break off. Is the camera not right to come this way, guys?
This is where Denny shows off another skill he has, directing.
Yeah, I don't know about your light, but you know what I mean? Now you're going to get a better shot of where they've really chewed into it right here.
Oh yeah, I see.
See what I'm meaning? This is beautiful. Here's what I was explaining earlier, how they're starting to chew on the tree, but now they're using their teeth and going to actually cut all the way in. This tree they've cut off completely. This one here they've cut off completely. This one here they're working on to topple this tree. But you can see the rings of it, how old this tree is. They do such a nice clean job of actually the way they chew through that tree. That's why it's so important for that beaver to have his teeth actually growing every day, because he wears them down when he starts chewing into wood like this.
Because, get this, for beavers, if they don't use their teeth enough, they don't just go hungry, they literally grow themselves to death.
because beavers got to gnaw every day of their life. Their teeth are constantly growing. They've got to be able to grind them together, or I've caught big beavers that have got sick for some reason or other. Their bottom teeth will grow up into their brain, and their bottom teeth will grow down into their jaw. After very long, they can't even open their mouth because those teeth are growing in to their brain, and essentially they've got a slow death that way.
Think that's cool? Another fun fact you probably didn't know about. They make their own beauty products, hair conditioner, and perfume.
I would like to describe how on the middle claw of a beaver, it's slotted, they're hollow. They've got an oil sac. They put oil in that claw, and they preen themselves several times a day with oil to waterproof their fur.
Really?
If you'd want something like that. But each one of their back feet are this one claw on each back foot is hollowed out and grooved with a receptacle to excrete that oil and to put oil into their, yep, you betcha. Yeah, really. Yep, so each beaver's got an oil gland and that castor gland.
So your next perfume could have come from...
Well, the good, but here's the part I didn't tell you guys earlier. About 20 years ago, lady perfume dealers backed out of the ball game. Now my castor went down to $15, $20 a pound for about 4 or 5 years. But now, like anything man tries to do, they started studying it. A lot of their man-made synthetic components were carcinogens, cancer-causing agents. Yeah. So they came back into the ball game and buying the natural beaver castor to avoid some of those cancer-causing agents they were using in ladies' perfume.
Now for the beaver, the perfume is less of an attractant than it is a deterrent. Keep other beavers away.
And so tell me about the mud that they form up on the...
Yeah, that's what they call the mud pie or a castor pile. Beaver's going to mark his territory, usually going to scoop up mud with his front feet, hold against his chest, walk a foot or two up on the bank, make a mound about 8, 10, 12 inches, walk up on that mound, excrete his castor. All beavers are a unique animal. They've got a castor gland and an oil sac. Out of that castor gland, he's going to excrete that on the top of that pile to tell other beavers that this is his territory and they need to avoid it.
That way they can concentrate on getting ready for winter.
So the cool part about a beaver, when he topples these trees, for sure in September, October, he's trying to get his winter food pile, kind of his kitchen put together. When he sticks all the branches, that when he cuts them off these trees, he's going to stick those branches, pretending my hand was the bottom of the creek. He's going to stick all them branches into the mud. In the wintertime, when he dives out of his lodge, the beaver's got the ability to shut off or restrict his throat so he won't swallow water, but still open up his mouth and be able to chew these stick branches off the mud bottom, pull them up to in his lodge, and then chew all the bark off of them. So he's a very well-adapted animal to live underneath the ice like that in the wintertime.
So while Denny does his thing, we chew on what we discovered. Beavers can grow as big as they want. Their teeth can actually kill them. They make their own hair gel, and they are master craftsmen that can build something like this in just a matter of a day or two. Now that's wild. That's wild. Let's go. Want to help save a raptor and inspire a child? Get my new book or Explorer Pack, If I Could Fly, is on sale now at metivier.com. A shout out to the businesses taking a walk on the wild side with us: Peterson Plumbing and Heating, QCA Pools and Spas, and Morrison Community Hospital. Hey, subscribe, tell a friend, help us keep growing and going.